iFiddle, folks. Geoffrey Fitzhugh from the Fiddle Jam Institute here. Glad to be back and asked to come back one more time in honor of Johnny Gimble, who passed recently. Mike has asked me to do a little piece about it. I never got to meet Johnny myself, other than emailing each other back and forth a couple of times about me coming out to jam at his camp. I really appreciated his jamming spirit for sure, and I've heard from other players that he always kind of thought jamming was the highest order, and knowing the heads was second. I kind of appreciate that. I'm kind of in the same ilk, I guess. Anyways, he seemed like a fun-loving guy. Everything I've heard is great about him. I do have one little story that's related to Johnny, though. I thought maybe you guys might enjoy the story. A couple years back, a good friend of mine here in Gainesville, Florida, Ted Crom, who was taking some lessons from me, and he said, you know, I own this little piece of property out in Turkey, Texas, and every year they have a festival there at the last weekend of April. As you may know, Johnny Gimble's kind of first important gig was playing with Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys, a super famous guy who developed Western swing style and was a movie star and all kinds of things. Anyways, they have this festival in Bob Wills' hometown of Turkey, Texas. And he said, you ought to go with me, it's cool. And he was trying to talk me into also a little side issue. Ted had made what he thought was the world's largest violin and shipped it there the year before to Texas, where everything they like everything big. And it was in the parade, and at this festival there's a parade, there's jams, there's dances, there's fiddle contests, there's concerts by the remaining Texas Playboys. And I said, you know, all right, it sounds fun. Ted wanted me to go there and see if we could make this fiddle actually playable. It was just a display. And this fiddle is big. I'll try and put some pictures in here maybe. Big enough where we needed a crane to get it on the truck. So of course people in Texas loved that. He was going to try and we were going to try and ship it back to Gainesville and maybe make it playable and see if we could put it in do a piece with a symphony or something. Anyways, that idea went south when the town heard they wanted to take the fiddle out of there. They begged him to let it stay there as part of the heritage of there, and so Ted rescinded, and we ended up keeping the fiddle there. But anyways, while I was there, I was quite I never really played Western swing before. I'd heard of it, of course, and knew Bob Wills a little bit, and I was quite delighted when I got there. There's really a lot of high caliber players and great jams going on all around the town, at everybody's houses and stuff at night, besides all the festivities during the day. I felt kind of right at home. If you can see, I'm wearing my bolo tie to dig it out of my my dresser drawer in honor of this. I don't have a great big belt buckle today or a cowboy hat on, but that's the deal there. And I don't have any cowboy boots on. I got my bare feet in the studio here today, but Indian style. Anyways, it was really a pretty cool thing. Now, why anybody would want to live in Turkey, Texas, I don't know. Sorry if you do. There's only about 400 people that live there the rest of the year, and it swells to thousands during this festival. It's a flat, dry, tumbleweed kind of place with a few oil wells, and that's it. In an old town, maybe it was something in the 50s or something, it looks like, but there's nothing going on there now. No wonder Bob Wills wanted to get out of there. Anyways, it's a tough place to live. And freezing in the winter, you know, below zero, and 110 in the summer, whew, not for me. But anyways, it's very nice there in April. At this festival, part of the festivities, they'd have some of the Playboys play in a little museum they had set up in one of the schools there in town. And I'd heard this a couple days there and stuff, and heard them do this little piece where they do this almost little theater piece about how Bob Wills, first started out playing a single violin at dances and backyard parties there and stuff. And this guy would recite this thing, and they'd come in and play the song I just played, Faded Love. While this guy's talking, telling of this story of Bob Wills, how he started. Now this has become like the national anthem for the Cowboys there. They stand up and put their head over their heart and stuff while the song is playing. Pretty serious stuff to these guys. Now, I had jammed with a few of these guys at night, and Joe Settlemeyer, the original guitarist in Texas Playboys, he knew of me a little bit downtown. And Jason Roberts was the main fiddler there. He's with Sleep at the Wheel, pretty famous guy, fine player. Matter of fact, I think I have a picture of him playing one of my fiddles that I made too. One of my outlawed fiddles. Anyways, I'll see if I can put that in here too. Anyways, I went to the museum one morning, and the Texas Playboys there, and no Jason, no fiddler. See what didn't show? They said he was sick, and maybe he's hungover. A lot of parties going. I don't know. I never did find out. But Joe Settlemeyer said, "Hey, can you come up? You got your fiddle? Come on up and play." Because he knew I could jam. So we did a few numbers, and I jammed just fine. That's my thing, you know. And I was adjusting to the style over the weekend a little bit. And then they decided to do this theatrical piece. And I'm going, uh-oh. I'd only heard Faded Love a few times before and just heard it a couple times over the weekend and saw this piece. It's like, do I know? It was a real test of, okay, here I am with the original Texas Playboys playing, you know, probably part that Johnny Gimble played. And do I know it? It's got to be right. This is the national anthem for cowboys. I'm going, okay. He goes, do you know it? You know, I go, I think so. Key of D, right? He goes, yeah. So, you know, it took every ounce of my ear. How's this sound go? Don't blow it, Perry. You know. And I'm playing this thing while the guys, and I'm trying to hear ahead of time all the notes I wanted, just like I try to teach you when we jam, to listen ahead. I'm trying to sing it ahead in my head, not blow it in front of these cowboys who would probably lynch me outside if I got it wrong. And then it got to the B part, and thankfully the band kind of started filtering in underneath me. Anyways, I made it. Whew, high pressure, simple song, but I made it to the end without getting, hung from the tree outside. And it was quite a cool little festival, a good little memory for me to actually sit in and play probably Johnny Gimble's part in a high pressure situation without a cowboy belt, without the big buckle and boots, and I did it. So, whew. The thing I learned about that whole experience there, besides just listening with my ear, just like I try to do when I jam and hear a tune and play it right, is I was very intrigued about historically how Western swing was being developed at the same exact times as a couple other styles in the same 15 or 20 year period, the 1930s and 40s. It was Western swing, bluegrass, which is, some people are surprised is more of a modern invention like that. Bluegrass is being developed in the 1930s and 40s, just a couple states over in Kentucky, by Bill Monroe, of course. And gypsy jazz was also over in Europe being developed in the same town, in the same era, same decades. And a lot of times the cool thing is they even share some of the same songs, like to say the song "All of Me," why not take all of me? I jammed that with guys at the Western Swing, Bob Wills festival, Bob Wills Days Festival. I've jammed it with bluegrass bands, and I've jammed it with gypsy jazz groups. And even things cross over from the gypsy jazz world, like minor swing. I've heard minor swing, of course, done by Django Reinhardt type bands. I've heard it done by bluegrass bands, by rock bands, by jam bands, and also by Western swing bands. Kind of interesting that all these things kind of, I don't know if that kind of thing is happening now, or maybe it's on the internet more, that everything just becomes this huge melting pot. Things can develop in little pockets. Maybe that was things of days of old. Maybe those days are over now. I don't know. But I find it very interesting that these three iconic and strong styles were all going on at the same time in the same years. I thought that's fascinating. So anyways, the other thing I learned about from listening then afterwards to some of Bob Wills' actual recordings and videos on YouTube and stuff, I thought it very striking that he modulated so much. I think it was cool that he wasn't the greatest player himself maybe, but he was the leader, the grand poobah, as many great leaders are, and he pulled the best out of his band, Johnny Gimble included. And if a tune was better for fiddle in a certain key, and then better for the pedal steel player in another key, they would modulate for the pedal steel player's ride. And they modulated these tunes 3 or 4 times, and it also modulated for Bob Wills' voice. I thought that was very fascinating arrangement-wise. They weren't shy to change keys in the middle of the song, and they did it to show off their players the best light. I thought that was interesting. You don't have to force yourself to play in hard keys. Like this one is in the key of D. It's got all those open strings in it. It would be terrible in A flat, right? It'd be very hard in the violin. In fact, that's another story of Johnny Gimble's I heard about. I can't verify that it's true, but I heard that Johnny Gimble would retune his fiddle to play on certain sessions. As you may know, he played with zillions, all the who's who, Willie Nelson, everybody he's played with. And he would retune his fiddle, which inspired me early on when I was doing my Cajun era stuff, to retune the fiddle as needed as well. And I love tuning the fiddle down. I guess Johnny Gimble was okay with that too. I figured if Johnny was okay with it, so was I. So there's my Johnny Gimble stories. I hope you enjoyed them. Maybe you learned a couple little things about it. Just give you something to chew on in your brains. I'm enjoying that Mike is asking me to be part of iFiddle now and then. And please, a little commercial, if you want to come to my Fiddle Jam Institute and learn how to jam and learn some tunes and learn how to have fun with your fiddle, please do. And check out Mike's offerings as well. He's doing a good thing with iFiddle. All right. Thanks, guys. See you around on the net.